Welcome everyone to today's admin. Is there any public comment on items not on today's agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll just roll into the agenda. Our first item is a proclamation. We rarely do proclamations during our admin meetings, but it looks like we have one before us today. This is National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. Is there anyone who'd like to say a few words about this? And I see Adrian Beck has just appeared.
Appeared on your screen, yes. Thank you, Commissioner Strohmeyer. So yes, National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, which is a mouthful, otherwise known as 911 Dispatcher Appreciation Week, is always the second week of April. And we ask that the Commission read this proclamation to highlight the critical work that 911 dispatchers do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's an incredibly challenging position, but it's also critical to our public safety and our citizens of Missoula. City Council read a similar proclamation at their City Council meeting last night.
Very good. Juanita, do you happen to have it in front of you there?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me.
Josh is here. Welcome.
Thank you.
I do. I can read it, although I feel like Chris should be reading this because he started with Missoula County 1,000 years ago with 911.
There you go.
Whereas public safety was the first service provided by government to its citizens, and the safety and well-being of its citizens and emergency first responders continues to be one of the foremost concerns of Missoula County. And ensuring public safety and well-being requires the ability to receive calls for help and immediately send responders to provide that help. And whereas 911 is the critical first link in the chain in delivering public safety services, and whereas the public safety telecommunicators who work in 911 display a superior level of commitment, dedication, and professionalism in accomplishing their mission of receiving calls for help from citizens, dispatching emergency response agencies, and maintaining a communication link with the responders to ensure their safety. And whereas these public safety telecommunicators provide the service to the public and first responders 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, working extraordinarily long hours with difficult schedules. And whereas the vital role of the public safety telecommunicator is often unknown and not recognized, and whereas amid the current public health emergency and global pandemic of COVID-19, these telecommunicators continue to report for duty every day to ensure the continuity of this critical mission. Now, therefore, we, the Missoula Board of County Commissioners, recognize the week of April 11th to 17th as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. We thank the telecommunicators in 911 for all their efforts and hard work under very difficult circumstances. The community truly would not be safe without them. We also encourage the community to recognize the importance of the function of 911 and to thank these dedicated individuals in writing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Adrian.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you, Adrian, and all the folks who work for you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Keep up the good work. All right, our next item is brought to us by Kylie Paul. This is a request to approve a PSA with Five Valleys Land Trust. Kylie?
Yeah, hello everyone. Kylie Paul, Natural Resource Specialist in Parks, Trails, and Open Lands. So pretty much for numerous years now, we've had Five Valleys Land Trust monitor our conservation easements that Missoula County's had. We're basically subcontracting in them essentially to do this annual monitoring that's required for a conservation easement. They're more suited for it, obviously. And so we are just continuing that. There's essentially 3 chunks of property that we've got conservation easements that we hold for private landowners in those locations. So
I'm so embarrassed. Can you tell us what our 3?
Yeah, so one of them is the well, and then the thing is they're called different names based on what they initially were, but it's the Shadows Keep. The golf course is essentially on people's property along the Bitterroot River. It's a really neat place as well. And then the other one is actually up Deep Creek, and there's several parcels that are they're separate parcels, but it's all one easement. So
We have some in Deep Creek?
yeah,
I had no idea.
sort of ish. It's like, should show you maps and time, but I don't have it in front of me right now. But yeah,
The
So
greater,
these are private property.
yes. It's always, so conservation easement is private property, private landowners. At some point, again, this was back in the 70s, I think, almost all of them, where there wasn't really a land trust. And so so someone had to do these conservation easements that were new, the newer big deal back then. Now it's a very
Mhm.
structured system that land trusts primarily are in charge of. And but we're an entity that holds them for those land trusts or for those private landowners. We have tried to have Five Valleys take them over for us. It's a big lift to take on a new for them to take our older conservation easements and try to fit them into their very busy system. But the way we've been working here has been pretty efficient, where it's just a small portion of funds that then they help us do the essential work of annually reviewing the easements and making sure the landowners are upholding the requirements that are involved with the conservation easement.
great.
Okay, any questions?
No.
Sounds good.
Okay, how about a motion?
All right, I'd be happy to move that the board approve the PSA with Five Valleys.
Second.
Any further discussion or public comment? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks,
Wow.
Kyle.
I just saw the price tag, $1,625. That
Outrageous, outrageous.
for
The-
Pretty efficient.
They're doing their monitoring with binoculars from the Missoula Valley.
Looks good.
So they're going on the property. So all good.
yeah, no.
Thank you.
Some land trust professionals hit 9 holes and then call it good.
Oh, God.
All right, thanks for that.
Thanks,
Thanks.
guys.
Jerry Marks, who've got a contract with AVI Systems.
Thank you. Am I coming through?
You are.
Oh, very good, very good. This is with AVI Systems. It's a contract for $14,994. And in putting our new facility together, since we're in the educational field, we want to figure out the best ways, the latest technology in the audio visual in reaching our audience and maybe bringing in that voice out there. We've communicated quite a bit with Jason Emery as we put this together. Dave Walls helped with us a little bit too. So that's our effort here, is to get the latest technology on our audio visual stuff.
Great. Well, if Jason Emery and Dave Wall give it the thumbs up, we're
Yeah.
not gonna stand in the way.
Yeah, far be it from us to give them the finger from their thumbs up. So
All in the name of digitizing.
nice.
Nice job, Josh.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, with all of that, I moved that the board contract with AVI Systems for technology work at the new weed extension facility.
I'll second that.
Sounds good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thanks, Jerry. We're really looking forward to groundbreaking coming soon, man. It's so exciting.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm really excited about that.
Very good. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jerry.
Yeah,
Thanks, Jerry.
yes.
Okay, from AVI Systems to a roadside mower. Eric Dixon, what do you have for us?
Well, while we think everything that we do is vital, mowing certainly is one of those that is recognized by the public as a big safety issue. We need that roadside vegetation knocked down so that we can increase sight distance at intersections and just along the road for wildlife or pets or pedestrians or bicyclists that may be on the edge of the road. And certainly like to keep it knocked down to reduce the fire danger from chains that are dragging on a paved roadway. So, we have or had 2 mowers historically, and one was a 1990 model and the other is a 2002 model. And unfortunately, last October, our 1990 model was damaged, and the boom arm mower was unrepairable, and to put a $60,000 attachment on a mower of that vintage was not deemed practical. So we contacted the vendors here in town and went through their Sourcewell prices. And we found a John Deere tractor with one of the industry's best mower head attachments, and it's a good quality machine. And with John Deere being a local vendor that can provide warranty work and then service in the future, we think is a good purchase option for the price that is listed. And it's an essential service that we provide, so we would recommend that this purchase agreement be signed so we can get that more heading our direction.
Great. Any questions?
Nope.
Oh,
Better than a pile of goats.
This is true.
all right, I'll move that we authorize the chair to sign letter of intent to purchase the mower.
Second.
Any
Thank
further
you.
discussion on the mower? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks,
All
Eric.
right, Dory and Shane, if you were available, would you like to talk about the counter offer from Stanley Hendrickson for the purchase of 27 acres for $385,000? And I believe this pertains to a potential gravel pit.
Yeah, so commissioners, Dory is currently testifying on one of our bills, one of the TIF bills that's out there. So apologies, she's not available, and Shane is also otherwise engaged. So I apologize. It's going to be me talking about this. So as you know, we made an offer a little over a week ago to Stanley Hendrickson for 27 acres out in the roughly the Frenchtown area for a potential gravel pit for Public Works. And I think Eric might still be on here, so he might be able to better answer questions about that. The offer was not accepted, but he did provide a counter offer at $385,000. So staff's recommendation is to accept that offer. And again, it is, as always, contingent on an appraisal, as the county is required by statute to only purchase for the appraised value of land. And so this counter offer, though, is in line, we think, with what is appropriate. Timing wise, we would start the appraisal assuming you accept the counter offer quickly so that we can clear that contingency and get ready to close.
Chris, refresh our memories. What was our original offer?
350,000.
And what was that 350 based on?
So that was based on Dory's kind of research for land out in that area. Mr. Hendrickson did indicate that he wanted to give the county the right of first refusal on this, but he does have another offer for the original asking price, which is the 385.
Okay. Other questions?
So,
No,
Chris,
I want to get this done quickly, but that's how I feel about it. But Josh, go ahead.
so I'm all in. This was just a money question. Is this coming from Public Works or from us? From
the intention is to use land sales, I believe.
That's
so
great.
General fund.
Fantastic. I applaud that choice.
And it's going to last a little over 20 years, and then we can.
And then we'll get our
it.
385 plus. So
Exactly.
yeah.
And then they're only using 15 acres for the gravel pit, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, it's not the entire property that will be
Yeah.
utilized. There may be a future use for the other portion, even that doesn't need to wait that 20 years. So
I hear that investing in land in Western Montana is a good idea.
It's maybe.
I move to approve the counteroffer from Stanley Hendrickson for the purchase of the 27 acres for $385,000.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion or comment on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
thank you.
Okay, let's see if they take that. Moving right along, Emily Brock, we have a request that the board sign a contract with Staggs Painting and Power Washing in the amount of $31,065.
Hi there. Yes, this is another in-house contract that we're managing on our fairgrounds team. It is for $31,000. And it's for painting building 12, 15, and 9, which are sort of the 1950s buildings. The fair office is one of them. We're painting them to match the commercial and culinary building. We went out to bid on our own for this. We only got one bid, but it's very reasonable. And that's it. It's a pretty simple deal.
Okay. Questions?
12, 15, and 9, those are the ones that are right next to the entrance, is that right?
No, so that's 35, and that's being done through Jackson, and that's a big project that you guys signed last week. 12 and 15 are the two buildings that flank commercial. And then 9 is attached to the grandstands.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, they're not really buildings that are worth major investment, but they need to be maintained and they need to match the work that we've done. Yeah.
Yep.
Great.
Okay, what do you think?
Let's put a new coat of paint on it. I would move that the board sign a contract with Staggs Painting and Power Washing to get this done.
Yeah.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks,
Thanks, Emily.
Emily,
definitely some lipstick, but it'll be worth it.
it's good.
I like lipstick, so.
Yeah. Can't go wrong there.
Okay. Very good. Any correspondence we need to discuss today?
Commissioners, just a quick heads up for you that for correspondence on Thursday, you'll have a letter to the Sealy Lake Sewer Board just outlining some of the changes that will need to be made to the interlocal agreement that had previously existed when construction of the sewer was going to happen, and basically setting or requesting that we meet to go through those changes and then draft a new interlocal that will comply with where we are now. So.
Okay. Well, and there's one piece of correspondence I wanted to bring up that shades into our next discussion regarding the legislature. So a few of us got a message from Ellie Boldman, Senator Boldman, over the weekend, or maybe it was last week. It's all a blur. And she had forwarded a document or documents from the legislature that outlined some proposed uses of the money over there in Helena that's potentially going to be available for infrastructure, and there was a line item in there for the Sealy Lake sewer, which was, I don't know where that came from. It was laughably low. It was like $700 some odd thousand, and I think we're of the mind that they've either got to ante up and pay for the whole thing or nothing. Something of that minuscule amount's not going to do anything.
Dave, do you guys know how it went from our noting of 20 million got kicked down? What happened?
Was that for a specific item, like a study, or what was that 700,000 actually supposed to be for? Okay. Sorry.
No, so no, that's okay. So I think what happened is Senator Boldman may have accidentally attached the previous version of those bills as opposed to the new ARPA bill, which is House Bill 632. Originally in one of the build bills that the state has, so they have 4 bills that move projects forward. There was 750,000. And I think that number just got miscopied by a drafter. In 632, there are no specific line item amounts for those. What they did was aggregate the amount of projects that local governments had set into a fixed dollar amount that would be allocated and set aside. And then local communities will have to apply for those funds through a grant application process that they are still working on developing. So I think what happened was, unfortunately, just in all the drafts of these bills that have gone around, that original 750 that was going to be used to match the previous federal funding that we had that has gone away just never got cut as a line. But the aggregate amount that has been set aside for wastewater, water projects, road and build projects, I believe is that larger aggregate amount that they've now accumulated in what I see as the newest version of 632 online. So. I think there's just some,
So
I will say there are a lot of those bill drafts going around. So,
Okay.
So Chris, the take home is not to worry on this.
well, the take home is that they added that money. As we know, they're still drafting the rules around 632. So we know, at least as of this morning, this bill is still very much in flux, that the 20% reduction for communities that have local health restrictions that are more,
Yeah.
I don't know what the right word is. I want to say more advanced, but I know that's not how the state looks at it. I will say more advanced, though, because that's what I believe our health restrictions are, is a more advanced view of public health. So there's that reduction that's in there. They're also trying to figure out formulas based on what they believe local communities will get for ARPA money, and trying to create a match system where the local communities would have to put in some of their funding. And that language, it sounds like, is being modified. Originally, we would have to expend 25% of the money coming to local government before the state would begin paying, and then they would, in essence, match dollar for dollar up to the cost of the project. But it sounds like that language will be amended.
They're wanting us to use our ARPA dollars to match the state's ARPA dollars.
That is correct, because when they come to local government, they lose their federal tag, and so they can be used as match. So all of this is still very much in flux. It's not wonderful. MACO, as you know, is lobbying pretty hard against that. We are lobbying pretty hard against that. That if there is a match requirement, that the match requirements be reasonable, not draconian, which is what the current one. It's the nice
reasonable
word,
as in zero.
I mean,
it would be great if it would be great if it's zero. I do not believe that the state that we will get them to zero, but
again, I would like to hear from the feds if they believe that's an appropriate use of these funds to use as a match to get more of their money that they decided was supposed to come to us in the first place. It doesn't seem to match the intent of either rule.
Yeah.
We could ask that very question to Senator Dane Staffer this afternoon.
And it should happen.
Yeah.
What else do you have, Chris?
That was it. Just so you know, that 632 is still maneuvering, and then we will go from there. So, but
well, as long as the legislature in session, there is every reason to continue worrying about everything.
That is true. I will say that we are in the last throes, as you may have read this morning. They are I don't even know what to call it, mashing together the marijuana bills to create some new, from 5 bills, they're going to condense it down to 2 bills and then 1 bill in a process that we largely won't occur in a public venue until it's presented as a final bill. And so it's the last few weeks are always an interesting time. And of course, this is when we we'll see things like free conference committees, where they can literally, Ann's term here that I'm going to borrow, gut and stuff a bill, where they can take everything that's currently in it out, and as long as what they put in it still fits in the short title, that becomes the new bill. So it gets even, as crazy as it's been, it gets even more crazy now.
Well, I'm really glad that with the marijuana bill, with an industry worth hundreds of millions of dollars, the thought and decision process is going to be deliberate and careful, calculated, as you so described. It's really in the best interest of us all, and I appreciate that. So I'm going there shortly.
Maybe they just want to test the product in practice.
So I got advice yesterday on testimony this afternoon, and I was cautioned to not utter the epithet Missoula in my.
Oh, so how are you going to introduce yourself?
I'm just going to say I'm a county commissioner, because that's true. and go from there.
From the great state of Montana.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. It's a sad thing, though, when the name of one of the counties is a derogatory term.
So it's gas tax you're testifying on?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Save the gas tax. And Shane and Jeremy are going, and I believe some public works staff as well.
Oh, good.
Though Tyler is up in the air, which is unfortunate because his understanding of how this works is crucial to answering questions.
Will he be online?
Hopefully. I mean, he missed the noon deadline. The whole thing happened so fast. It's not Tyler's fault. I mean, it was like, you got to sign up in 10 minutes. It was terrible.
You can't go kidnap him and throw him in your car?
I offered. I offered that. He's deliberating.
You could be more forceful.
Just looking for law enforcement on the call.
Yes, we do have access to a law enforcement agency, so. Okay.
Well, Josh,
Well,
of
good
course,
luck
I think
over
we
to
all
Helena.
wish you luck in going to Helena today.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that y'all giving me the latitude to do it.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you.
Rumor has it that the voters in a particular Montana county actually spoke on this issue.
So they did. So they did. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Nothing else. Yeah, legislative. Okay. How about COVID? Health
I
board.
don't see Adrian on with us. I know she had to pop off for another meeting. I would just continue to echo amazing work by our vaccination folks. If you haven't looked at the latest number, we have crossed the third of our population. So we have fully vaccinated 1/3 of our population, and our number continues on that upward trajectory towards hopefully eventually 75%, but continuing on that upward trajectory. I will say that I got my second shot this weekend, and other than a little bit of a headache and a short duration of fever, it was a pleasant experience. And it's nice to be fully vaccinated. So,
Congratulations.
Yes, my compliments to both the folks doing vaccinations and also the folks doing testing, as I've experienced both of those services in the past week. So, good work.
You're so involved, Dave. That's really great.
Well, hopefully this week I won't be testing out any intensive care healthcare facilities, but we'll take it as it comes. Okay, anything else from anyone on any topic?
Man,
All
this
right.
is like our third admin in a row that's made it, 30 minutes. Well done.
We are a well-oiled machine at 10:29 a.m. today. So we will be adjourned. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks,
thank you
everyone.
all.